what's up, everybody? Hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday to you. There was plenty of football. I have to say, this was one of the weirdest Sundays, week 2. This was the one Sunday when everything seemed strange. Everything was incomprehensible and difficult to explain. All day on Sunday, I have been saying, what the hell is going on in the NFL around the league? This was the weirdest Sunday. The Lions lost, the Niners lost, and the Cowboys lost all on the same day. Man, oh man, them boys in the Big D got steamrolled. I better not see a damn star in the sky tonight since y'all didn't show up. Give them people their refund. Give them people their money back. Every fan at that game on Sunday should ask for a refund on tickets, food, drinks, parking. I demand them people their money back. What kind of shit was that? What did we just watch on Sunday? In all seriousness, we all know how the Cowboys are. They're a bunch of dudes living a cycle of upper and downer weeks. Like I said last season, this is a team that likes to play with your emotions. One week, you're feeling really, really good about this team, and the next week, you're not sure if this team is for real or not. Their embarrassing loss to the Saints is a perfect example of that inconsistency we talk about whenever the Cowboys do this to themselves. I don't know how this team can even represent the state of Texas when they play like trash. I mean, just lazy, uninspired football. Friendly reminder that pretty much what you saw this week was a Cowboys team that seemingly can't keep it together. The urgency was missing from this team. They lacked energy. You know, they didn't put forth their best effort. I know this about the Cowboys. They are quite literally the most inconsistent and undisciplined team in football. All the Dak haters, can you chill? Can you please just chill out? If anything, your gripe is with the defense. Their offense, I understand, their offense flowed like a constipated woman in a senior home. I get it. The offense stalled out. Lousy performance. The defense lost this game. The defensive line had no pass rush and could not hold a block. We all owe it to Derek Carr, Saints quarterback, because look, he outplayed Dak Prescott and looked like Drew Brees. The Saints O-line was phenomenal. Got to give them a lot of credit. They shut down the defensive line of the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons was non-existent. Alvin Kamara, man, Alvin Kamara got in the end zone 4 times. 4 touchdowns. Super explosive. Alvin Kamara looked like his old self. The defense, forcing turnover after turnover. You know, making Dak Prescott look worse than a junior varsity quarterback. The Saints looked alive while the Cowboys looked dead for much of the afternoon. I kid you not, AT&T Stadium sounded like a damn mortuary. And we all know coaching truly does matter, but man, you give Derek Carr, Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, great things can happen as we saw on Sunday. The motions, the shifting, it's a totally different offense. You know, I'm watching the Saints offense against Dallas. I'm going, wow. They are moving all over the field. It's amazing what could happen when you have a confident quarterback. You know, I mean, Kubiak is one of the smartest guys in the league calling plays and does a terrific job challenging his quarterback intellectually. I'm having trouble spitting that word out there, but you guys understand what I'm saying. As for the Cowboys, I guess my takeaway is that Dallas is a team that I can't say is a legitimate contender when they lose like this. They're a flawed team. Like they're when I watch them, I think, God, they are just so unorganized and unprepared. Big picture, I don't know how Dallas, after choking every year in the playoffs, can take weeks off and then come back 1 week and look like this fearless team. I mean, some weeks it feels like they're a legit Super Bowl contender. I do think, for obvious reasons, that the Cowboys could miss the playoffs. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if they missed the playoffs. This game illustrated it. Dallas is a crap shot. It's so tough to predict. This defense has no excuse. No excuse for an unacceptable no-show performance against the Saints. No matter how good Carr or the Saints offense was, New Orleans should never beat the Dallas Cowboys in that fashion. That is inexcusable. What am I supposed to say? Like, really? What am I supposed to say? Saints 44, Cowboys 19? Maybe people are right. Maybe this Cowboys team is way overrated. You know, the Saints, in a weird way, just kind of stepped on their throats. That was the most pathetic effort I've seen. Not a day to blame anyone, but this abysmal Dallas defense. That's the only blame. That's the only thing you could blame is the defense. It's not always the quarterback. Sometimes it's just a bad situation, or in this case, a defensive unit not holding up its end of the bargain. This team was unprepared to play. The play calling on offense was anemic, and the defense was 2 steps behind. This might be the worst defensive effort I've seen from them. They literally couldn't stop anything. No pass rush. You can't stop the run. And you got burnt in the passing game. Just about everything on Sunday was ugly for the Cowboys. Defense, once again, a no-show against an above-average quarterback. The only weapon on the offensive side of the ball is CeeDee Lamb. Tight end Jake Ferguson was ruled out for week 2. They definitely missed his presence. This team might finish below 500 after making Dak the highest paid player in league history. You know, there's something really wrong with this version of this Cowboys team. For one, the defense is slow, undisciplined, and arguably soft. And I certainly don't think their offense is much different after yesterday. No threat on the offensive side from CD. You know, there's really no threat on offense aside from CD. Their passing attack is unpowered in terms of weapons. Run game is non-existent. Run defense is not there. The line of scrimmage just got completely displaced against that front. And sure, top-level talent may keep them in the playoff race, but this team is not a true contender in its current form. And basically, what you're looking at is last season's team, but worse on the margins. 245 days later, not much looked different for the Dallas Cowboys in games that matters. A week 2 loss does not have the same importance of a season-ending playoff loss, but this was the second worst home opening loss since Jerry Jones bought the damn team in 1989. It was the worst loss. It was the worst loss in a long time. The worst loss was 41-14 to the Eagles in 2000. The Saints had a 35-16 lead after 2 quarters. 35 points allowed are the most in the first half by the Cowboys in their history. Last year, the Cowboys allowed 35 points in just one game. Tough Sunday for everybody. It shocked the hell out of me that they let the Saints come to their place and do them the way they did them. That seems like an understatement to the New Orleans Saints because the scoreboard read 44-19. Derek Carr was hardly touched. Nobody could bring down or tackle Alvin Kamara. They just had no answer for Kamara. The Saints came marching into Arlington, where the Cowboys had won 16 straight at home. New Orleans put up 290 yards in the first half, or 60 more than Dallas allowed in their week 1 win against the Browns. I mean, it was over by halftime. I really shouldn't be surprised, though. We know their game. This is what the Dallas Cowboys do. This is what they do all the time, every year. They look promising 1 week, and then next week, they look hopeless. It's like 1 week you're watching a Super Bowl contender, then the following week, you're watching bums be bums. You know, you would think after such a great week 1, the Cowboys would come out firing in the first half of the home opener. Well, they didn't. It was a total shit show. I'm pretty sure fans needed a cocktail after that humiliating loss. Man, let me tell you, those folks in Dallas have been through it. They have really been through it. I think Mike Zimmer, let me talk about him a little bit. I think Mike Zimmer, if the Cowboys lost like that on Sunday, I think a lot of people are like, he hasn't changed this Dallas defense that much. Like, what has he done to make it better? They lose, and again, you create this narrative that Zimmer isn't the answer after all. Not much depth on that defense. And it showed on Sunday. You know, it showed. And of course, Cowboy fans are furious with Zimmer over indefensible personnel decisions. He's never really been a good coach. That's just the reality of it. I know that Zimmer was brought in to bring that West Coast style of offense, to stop that West Coast style of offense, which is every team in the NFC. Just a week ago, we were praising him because they won the game. I'm going to tell you, the last 2 years, Mike Zimmer was a coach in Minnesota. They ranked 29th in total defense the last 2 years. The issue with the Dallas Cowboys, the defense is freaking weak. They're weak in the interior defensive line, and they're weak at the linebacker position when they're playing against teams like the New Orleans Saints. They're atrocious down the middle. You know, I'm making a hard assumption right now, but I think this defense, the way things are looking, is overrated. This defense is very overrated. And the reason we put so much stock into their defense is because they have a few stars, and because of that, we automatically assume it's an elite defense, when in reality, they're not even close. Nowhere near being elite. The way they played on Sunday, that's not a top defense in this league. It looked like one of the worst. They're not winning the division. I can tell you that right now. They're not winning the division at all. I can promise you that. There's no Super Bowl, no Cowboy fans, no Cowboys fans. I'm sorry. This is not your year. I'm sorry. There's a possibility they could miss the playoffs. I don't think it's an overreaction at all. They are so far behind everybody else in the NFC East, with the exception of the New York Giants. They were so bad on Sunday that they made the New York Giants look innocent. Okay? This franchise won't win a Super Bowl for 50 years. We'll all be dead by the time the Cowboys win one. It's clearly one of the sloppiest teams in the league, with a quarterback who is a hit or miss, even though he had a historically good season last year. The fact that they need to recalibrate already tells me they aren't Super Bowl ready. This team should be able to build off of their previous year, even though it ended badly for them. I think on Sunday, everyone came to the realization they're not going to the Super Bowl. Well, except for those delusional Cowboys fans that truly believe every year is their year. The delusion is real. But I've lowered the expectations a tad bit for the Cowboys. This year's Cowboys team is not going anywhere. The years of doing absolutely nothing and cheering on 30 plus years of misery is wild. It's wild to me. So if anything on Sunday made things clear, it's that the Cowboys are frauds. They are in the playoff mix, but I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders as presently constructed. And that's because the owner, Jerry Jones, viewed the Super Bowl trophy as a nice to have and not a must win. It's about the money for Jerry and doing whatever to keep themselves relevant as much as possible. I think it's been that way for the Cowboys for a very long time. They'll never win a Super Bowl with Jones running the show in Dallas. We learned a ton this week. The talent isn't there, and the coaching on both sides is not the best. And before you call me a hater, because I'm not hating. That's not hate. Just my honest assessment of the team. The Cowboys are in bad shape right now. And I just don't see them going very far this season. And I think once again, they are showing us that they are nothing more but frauds. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate the love and support. Thanks for checking out the content as always. Great stuff. Really appreciate it. If you guys like this content, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button for me. We'll talk very soon. I'm getting out of here now. Enjoy your Monday. Take care, everyone.